Can you see the screen? Is it visible to everyone?
I think it's visible, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
So this is International Conference on Economics, Business, Tourism, and Social Sciences, organized by IIARP. What is IIARP? IIARP is a conglomeration of academia and professionals for the promotion of research and innovation, creating a global footprint. And IIARP aims to bring together worldwide researchers and professionals, which encourage intellectual development and providing opportunities for networking and collaboration. This association is actively involved in academic networking, meetings, conferences, workshops, projects, research publication, academic awards, scholarships, and many more activities. It is about IIARP. What IIARP do? Our main objective is to attract researchers from different fields to share their knowledge and scientific breakthroughs to wide audience under one roof. They under one roof, maybe in physical as well as virtual conferences. IIARP deeply believes that sharing information and staying up to date is a key aspect toward success, and this objective we can achieve through organizing academic conferences and other academic activities. And this is the last purpose, that sometimes we lose time while looking for the solution that others have already found. So we can share all those solutions for which we are looking and searching for. We can share it through our academic activities such as conferences and workshops and many more. So what we do, basically, IIARP has been involved in organizing world-class networking, helping and collaborating in this aspect, organizing international conferences as well as national conferences, help in publishing in international journals and research publications. IIARP is a well-known institute for organizing scientific and academic international conferences in Malaysia, Thailand, Japan, Indonesia, India, Singapore, UAE, Sri Lanka, Philippines, Bangladesh, Russia, USA, and many more are top cities around the world. These are our associates, that is the PhD Cluster Conference Alert 360, that's our media partner, and our publication are supported by F1000 Research, which is a group of Taylor and Francis. There are some opportunities for the participants regarding publication, and in addition to the conference proceedings, the authors can publish their extended abstract e-posters and presentation slide with the DOI. And you can also opt for your full paper manuscript publication with the DOI indexed by Google Scholar Journal. And all the accepted papers or manuscript registered in our on our website will be published in a multidisciplinary Scopus Index journal. And we strongly recommend the participants that they should go to publish their papers or manuscript in F1000 Research, which is a group of Taylor and Francis. And we have IIARP have a publication gateway, which is an open access publishing platform that is indexed by Scopus Q1. So we strongly recommend F1000 Research for publication. It's quite quick, easy, and author-oriented platform. Now, what is the gateway? It is an open research publication hub dedicated to publishing research rapidly and in transparent manner. This is like how F1000 Research works. It provides a platform to publish all forms of research in physical, life sciences, engineering, medicine, business, economics, management, social sciences, humanities, ranging from research articles to software tools articles, as well as many other formats, including posters and lecture slides. What are the benefits for authors publishing in this F1000 Research? It enables the authors, not editors, to decide what they want to publish. An author suggests peer reviewers and control the whole process. This is the model, how it looks like. You can submit your article and associated data, such as the species data set, or your questionnaire, or the field notes, or interviews, transcription, or other associated data. You should submit it first. Then it will be published by F1000 Research. Your manuscript will be published. Then the authors will be invited to suggest at least 5 reviewers. The manuscript will be sent to the peer reviewers, especially 2 reviewers. And then the reviewers will comment on your manuscript and will be sent back to the authors. The author will revise the manuscript, and again it will be published. If it is approved by 2 reviewers, it means it's indexed in Scopus Q1. So you see, all the process is author oriented, meaning the author can control the whole process. So it's very easy, quick, rapid, and transparent. These are some of the examples of the papers published by IIARP and Scopus, as well as Web of Science Index journals. Some, just few examples. Otherwise, IIARP published dozens of papers each month. These are some of the glimpses of the past conferences, physical conferences. You can visit website www.iiarp.org by exploring more. So that's all. Thank you so much. And now I will invite our session chair, Dr. Usman Khan, to have the to start the session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shaki, for this wonderful view of the IIARP and its publication and its wide-ranging research activities in all fields of from physical sciences to social sciences. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So without wasting further time, we have to go and start our conference today, and I'll be strictly following the schedule that I have got for this conference from the coordinator. So you all are requested to follow the scheduled time and follow the procedure. So I will call in by the last three digits of the paper ID, the paper title, and the first author. And I'll request him or her to present the paper. So to properly start it, let me start it by the paper ID is 507. The paper title is Tourism Destination Brand Identity, the case studies of Koh Chang Marine National Park in Koh Tao, Thailand. Dr. Usena. Paper title is, the paper ID is 507. Okay, are you there?
Hello.
Hello.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay. So, should I start now?
Please go ahead.
Okay. Let me share the screen. Okay. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. So. Okay, so my paper is about tourism destination brand identity, and I select Koh Chang Marina National Park and Koh Tao in Thailand to be the case studies. Okay, so the study aims to see the size of how to manage tourism destination brand identity under continuous development. As I mentioned before, I select Koh Chang, Marina National Park, and Koh Tao in Thailand because both islands of how can I say, the national park and one island. I cannot say both islands, right? Okay, so are very popular for tourism, especially for foreigners, and they are still have a good atmosphere and good nature, and most of the time when tourists want to escape for towns or city, they prefer to come to either Koh Chang or Koh Tao. Okay, and my study employs a qualitative method for data collection for 2 case studies, and the outcomes of this paper, I believe that it can provide a guideline for managing tourism destination brand identity, and it also can improve the achievement of tourism goal. Okay, and why we decide to study on tourism destination brand identity, because it is globally important for both tourism destination and tourism business. Okay, and it links to a destination, local symbol, slogan, character, story, image, and personality, and it should be related to a function of tourist emotion, feelings, or experience attributes of each destination, because each destination has different characteristics. That's what we believe. So this should lead to beneficial value defined by the offering that each destination creates. Okay, and this can make each tourism destination attractive and become engraved in one's mind more so than that of a competitor destination. And likewise, it can also depend on the perception of tourists who will gain from each destination brand identity, like to let they come and to let they come again. And these 2 destinations as I mentioned before, Koh Chang and Koh Tao are not accepted, and both of them also have impact from COVID-19 as well, as you know. Okay, so for the research question, we decide to go for what forms choose suitable tourism destination where entity take to deal with tourism destination as a continuous management process. And to look at the terms, the important terms of this study. Okay, I select 3 significant terms or literatures. The first one is about tourism destination brand identity. Okay, because brand identity can help people to develop for perceptions of several stakeholders and combine together.
Dr. Osani, sorry for interruption. Can you please switch on your camera for the,
hang on.
During the presentation, we need to switch on the camera.
Sorry. Let me.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so can you see the slide? Hello?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, so you can also see the slide, right? And the second one is knowledge management. Okay, and another one is tourism psychology. Okay, because I think 3 of these theories can help people to gain insight into what customers or what tourists want to see or want to let them come to each destination again. And the next one is about modeling building according from the study. Okay, so after we collect data and analyze, we can develop models. The first one is a relationship with tourists via tourism psychology models. Okay, we as the slide show, this one shows if you are into 3 frames. One cognitive frames, the second one operative frames, and the last one operative frames. And each one has a different meaning. Okay, and like for example, the first one, cognitive frames, is about how we receive and or understand what people or what tourists know or believe, and it can also dive attitudes, emotional imperative or emotional feelings of tourists. And then this frame will influence on figurative frame, which is about thinking, visualizing, emotions, feelings, sense, recognitions, and experience perceptions. Okay, and this frame will indicative on operative frames. So, which is about doing or acting through decision making and then action or behave. And the next models is about linkage between sustainable competitive advantage and viable hybrid knowledge management for sustainable tourism destination brand identity. Because we believe that to understand tourists, we need to be able to manage information or knowledge. Okay, and then we can develop unique destination brand identity. Okay, so then we create this model from the study. And also the study has found that the linkage between
Sorry for
sustainable-
interruption. You have 3 minutes more. So
Okay.
please be
Yeah.
concise. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
And the last model. Okay, the last model is about reforming sustainable tourism destination brand identity. Okay, which build we have found 6 domains and 2 interference involved in managing sustainable tourism destination brand identity. Okay, and to jump to conclusion, management tourism destination brand identity diversity is one of the problems of global tourism business. It occurs because each destination has variety and different identity and has an impact on the success of tourism industry ability, including this case study. So having a better understanding of the general dynamics of managing tourism destination brand identity has been very important and activity and important process to create classifications of destinations identity, and it can allow to be decomposed into generic elements which can be used to map any tourism destination identity management based on each unit. Okay, so yep, that's all of my study on this paper.
Thank you so much, Dr. Usina, for this wonderful presentation. And I hope this will have a huge impact on the audience. And if anyone has any question from Dr. Usina, please write it with yourself. And we will have it in the Q&A session. So we may ask the question at the end. So thank you, Dr. Usina, again.
Yeah,
Let me go to the next presentation. So the next paper in the next presentation is the next paper ID is 509. The paper ID is 509. The paper title, a technological analysis of the breach of personal data privacy and mitigation strategies in the era of cloud computing. Mohammed Chakri is the author. Are you here?
509. Just let me check. Okay. 509. 509. This is a video presentation, so we need to move to the next one.
Okay, Dr. Shaki, thank you. So the next presentation paper ID is 513. Let me repeat it again. 513. The paper title is Violence Against Women. A study on cases filed in disengagement. The paper author is Jevelian G. Pass Aaron. Are you here, Jevelian?
Five 513.
Yeah.
Javelin, I think available.
Yeah, I think.
513.
Hello, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Sir, I have sent the pre-recorded presentation.
You send your video PPT?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you want to play it here, or you just want to leave it on YouTube channel?
On YouTube, sir, it's okay for me. It's fine.
Sorry?
For
YouTube channel is fine.
Yes, sir, YouTube.
Okay,
channel.
okay. So we move to the next one. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So the next paper ID is 516. Let me repeat it again. 516. The paper title is Exploring the First Cloud Theater from Malaysia during the COVID-19. Whole world is a case study. Live Union.
Dr. Usman, this is also video PPT. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's go to the next. The paper ID is 517. The paper title is "In Art Ethnography on Network Impact." Wang Li is the author.
517. 517. Oh, yes. Wang Lei. 517. Are you available? Wang Lei. Are you available?
I think it's not available.
Paper ID 517.
I couldn't see any paper ID with 5.7 here in the list. The presentation.
517. I think not available. So we can move to the next one.
Okay, thank you. So the next paper ID is 521. Paper ID is 521. The paper title is "Matching Advertising with Gift Givers, Stereotypes of Recipients in Empirical Study of Young Chinese Buyers." So the author is Yang Chen.
521. 521. Are you available? 521. 521. I think not available. So, okay, please move to the next one.
Okay, so the next paper ID is 528. The paper title is "Exploring the Information Security Awareness of Chinese college students in the Age of COVID-19." The paper author is Xinren Wang. And the paper ID is 528.
528. Also not available. Please move to the next one.
Okay, the next paper ID is 530. 530. The paper title is "Novel Performance-Based Retrofit Method for RC Frame Structure." The paper author is Zhao Jesse. 530.
It's a video. Okay, please.
Okay, so the next paper ID is 534. Paper ID is 534. The paper title is "Design and
534 is
Research."
here.
Okay, go ahead. Chen Yi Wang.
Qing Wang is originally a speaker, but she has a issue, so I will replace.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Okay. Let me share my screen. It's work. My screen.
Yeah, and please on your camera as well. Is for the requirement
Okay.
of the time.
Okay. Its topic is design and research on children's pen holder for Chinese writing. Okay, the first introduction. What is the handwriting difficulty? Handwriting difficulty impairments have many characteristics such as reduced legibility and writing speed. Improper grip often leads to handwriting impairment. To date, about 10 to 34% of school age have handwriting difficulties. In the school education of Chinese culture, children need to fill in Chinese words in the squares. The students in the higher grade over the fourth grade and more able to fill the words into the squares perfectly. Because the older children tend to write smaller Chinese characters, and they have finer motor ability and visual perception skills, so that they can organize the spatial arrangement of each word. In English writing, single character emphasize the accuracy of the spelling, while Chinese character emphasize the accuracy of strokes. Chinese characters are often characterized by their digital character and the complexity with multiple stroke positions and the direction. Furthermore, Chinese writing involves not only complex phonometric figure and stroke agreement within a squared area, but also the proper placement of stroke and the preparation of radicals. Chinese writing requires not only visual recognition and confirm the nouns of stroke form and position, but also the ability to organize the space of the writing to ensure that the written text is clear and easy to understand. Therefore, writing Chinese character is more difficult than writing English. In fact, there are many differences between Chinese writing and English writing compared with English writing. Chinese writing requires finger motor ability and visual preparation skill to that they can organize the spatial arrangement of each word. Furthermore, Chinese writing involves not only complex geometric figure and stroke agreements within a squared area, but also the proper placement of stroke and the preparation of reticle. Therefore, writing Chinese character is more difficult than writing English. Chinese writing requires not only more visual recognition. We can see there are three type of in our picture. There's triangle type, pear type, and the butterfly type. They're for the different grade children, include the low grade, middle grade, and the high grade. And one each child in the room was asked to write their name 3 times with holding a ready-made pen holder, and was encouraged to impress subjective feeling about their holding. Second, the child holds the white clay with diameter of 2 cm and 4 cm in a habitual pen holding position until the shape of the holding is formed, and then begin to write. On the writing specifications, use the designed pencil to write their name 3 times in a square on A4 paper. There are three sides of handwritten squares. The smallest square is based on the size commonly used by the Taiwan Ministry of Education for lower grade Chinese handing writer, while the other 2 largest sizes are for clear identifications and the comprehension of Chinese writing quality. Third, after writing, researchers judge the quality of each child's handwriting and records pen holding gesture with a camera. Finally, the researchers use the sticker on the clay to mark the position of the children's finger in order to provide a new pen holder design. It's the result. The design process is divided into 3 stages: grip definition, curve measurement, 2D draw layout, and 3D model creation. Details are described below. And grip definition, the measured curves are divided into 4 main holding directions, including thumb curve, middle finger curve, finger desk curve, index finger, and middle finger curve. Curve measurement measure the curve value of the clay using contour guide. The measure curve are staked out of the grip respectively. Next, mark the X and the Y coordinated of each line, and use a ruler to get the actual size. And there are 2 types. The type A, the index of the middle finger for an E curve on the same line. Also, the 2 finger and the thumb meet, forming a 45-degree triangle from the overall appearance point of view. The top surface will show the curved trend of double low peak, and type B, the middle finger will be in front of the index finger. Since the index and the middle finger are on different sides, the middle finger is further away from the thumb. Different placement of the middle in the index finger and change the angle of the wrist. This study considered the value and the necessity of in-depth research on DQ in the future. And model establishment, according the curve measurement result, improve the data into the 3D software right now, and establish a universal pen holder design that conform to the hand shape as shown in figure 9 to figure 10. These two picture is our 3D model picture, and A type is the left, type B is right. It's a discussion. Also, there are many versions of the pen holder on the market. However, after the actual observation of this research, most of the pen holder on the market actually force the user to correct to the DT holding posture. However, this pen holder do not fully consider the experience of children in their holding position. The DT grip is an effective grip for children who can improve handwriting difficulty, but the DT grip is not the only effective writing posture. If the user commonly used grip is another DQ, the writing can still be completed successfully. If forced to correct to another posture, it may reduce the writing efficiency. Therefore, designers should be considered in the design of the pen holder so as to deal with people with this type of grip. Many current pen holder design are not ideal to.
Sorry for interruption. You have 2 minutes more, so please be close here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And is this two-page? Okay, so conversely, children rated the butterfly and the triangle pen grip. The grip butterfly, this study showed that the triangular pen holder is relatively similar shape with pointed edge and the corner and the single holding method. So the conclusion is this study provided a design method for the pen holder that conforms to the shape of the hand. This measurement method can be generalized and improved for 2 different grip positions commonly used by children, so that children with different grip position can use it. This method can avoid forcibly correcting the child holding position to another unsuitable position. This study is expected to perform verification experiments based on the Chinese handwriting analysis system in the future in order to further verify quality difference of the pen holder design in this study compared with the 2 conditions with using the pen holder and using the pen holder on the market. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Lynn, for this wonderful and interesting presentation. And I like it by myself as well. And I know how hard is it to write Chinese characters. So I would like to read the whole manuscript at any chance in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we have to move forward and invite the next speaker. So the paper ID is 537. And the paper title is Research on Fire Test of Cross Laminated Timber Walls. The paper author is Yu Bei. The paper ID is 537.
Excuse me, is the 535?
No, 537 is next paper. You're done with.
535 is already done, right?
Yeah, 537. 537.
And what about 535?
535 is the one it's already done right now.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
537 is video, so we can move to the next one, please.
Okay, we can move to the next one, and the next one is 542. The paper ID is 542. The paper title is The Influence in the Role of Female Member of Parliament in the Passing of Gender-Sensitive Policies, Therapeutic Termination of Pregnancy in Madagascar. And the author is Noel Gladway. I think.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Is it seen? My slide is
Still
seen?
share. No, we do not see your slides.
Yeah, now it's okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
Still, again, disappear.
No?
Okay, let's wait for a second. I think it will just take some time.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Okay, so first of all, I would like to thank the International Institute of Academic Research and Publication for giving me this opportunity to present on this IICEBTS conference today. I'm Nouvelle Glady, and and I will be the presenter of our study entitled "The Influence and Role of Female Parliament Member in the Passing on Gender-Sensitive Policies: The Case of the Therapeutic Termination of Pregnancy, or TTOP draft bill in Madagascar." Well, I will now present a study. So the United Nations in the Millennium Development Goals and the Sustainable Development Goals does not explicitly mention the issue of abortion. However, the third and fifth SDGs goals are in line with the International Conference on Population and Development, or ICPD, and the World Conference on Women in Beijing, where abortion has been addressed as a public health issue. And here, the elaboration of a theoretical perspective of women's political representation and recruitment aims to eliminate the gap between men and women's participation in political life, since parity appears to be the key element in promoting equal opportunity for women and granting them access to decision-making. This study is structured by two research questions, which are: how does the issue of therapeutic abortion highlight the role and influence of women representation in implementing gender-sensitive policies, and is the representation theory, which is usually descriptive, effective in implementing gender-sensitive policies. The research motivation is to analyze the implementation of gender-sensitive policies in a case where the draft bill was initiated by a female member of parliament and countered by another female member of parliament, to point out the lack of substantial female representation at the level of government bodies such as the parliament. And this study reviews a previous literature on the same topic, which support that the theoretical perspective of women's political representation is a concrete measure to promote equal opportunities for women to access decision-making position, and also a higher share of female MPs is more likely to pass gender-sensitive policies. We are and this the TTOP Malagasy case is analyzed through the political presence framework elaborated by Anne Phillips, whose aim is to combine positive action, politics of ideas, and the politics of presence. So in this case study, this theoretical framework puts in perspective the underrepresentation of women to determine the appropriate measure to undertake initiative in terms of representation. And the study adopts the qualitative approach based on a literature search following the recommendation of Criswell, where the researcher assumed the role of the key instrument and collect data by examining public documents and collecting secondary data from previous research to argue the objective, which address the challenges and importance of women's representation in politics and the state's role regarding women's reproductive rights. And also the previous studies have been able to infer arguments about the strengths and weaknesses regarding the present case study. We are now on the discussion part. First, the legal framework on women's reproductive rights and the TTOP draft bill in Madagascar. So here, the Madagascar has signed the ICPD which recognize the right on all reproductive decision without discrimination, coercion, or violence as expressed in human rights texts. And the country has also adhered to several international and national convention politics which aim to reduce the gender gap. And these rights include abortion, which is one of the most controversial health intervention in the world. And regarding the case of Madagascar, the abortion law is one of the most restrictive in the world. It is a crime punished by the penal code, and also the voluntary termination of pregnancy remains punishable by law, even in case of rape, incest, or when the mother's life is in danger. And the maternal mortality rate in Madagascar is one of the highest in the world. And 30% of, no, the induced abortion represent 30% of the causes of maternal mortality. So this high maternal mortality rates attest to gaps in advocacy for women's causes, which can be linked to women's underrepresentation in politics, and the proposal law on TTOP was designed in that aims to reduce the maternal mortality rate. Regarding the TTOP draft bill in Madagascar, the text stipulates that the authorization of this therapeutic abortion is based on a medical opinion, proving a pregnancy threatening the mother's life, and the law also wants to include termination of pregnancy as an option in cases where congenital abnormality or severe incurable disease are diagnosed in the fetus, and therapeutic abortion for victims of rape or incest. However, since its formal debut in the National Assembly, the bill on therapeutic abortion has been subject to heated debate. In 2017, it was withdrawn by the National Assembly and the Senate after the church entered the debate, and in October 21, the TTOP was again proposed by Ms. Koulamali Marie Jeanne d'Arc, who is a female MP and the chair committee of the Malagasy National Assembly. So the ratification of the law proposal has faced many obstacles, and on 2nd June 2022, both houses of parliament rejected the bill on the pretext of deficiency observed during the executive's observation of the text. And it is interesting here to observe that the main opposition to this bill is from a female member of parliament, which is also a member of the majority party in Malagasy parliament. So this confrontation between two elected female parliament in the implementation of gender-based politics allows to observe the relevance of the role and the influence of representation in women's struggles, which leads us to discuss about the influence of female representation in passive gender-sensitive policies. So based on the previous studies, the TTOP case of Madagascar, the result of the studies are not relevant to the TTOP case of Madagascar, to the extent that Madagascar presents all the aspects discussed in that study, but still the implementation of TTOP faces many obstacles. The representation of women in Madagascar has increased. In 2002, it was 4%, and in 2021, it reached 18.54%. So this data attests that the number of female MPs is not the problem, nor the lack of legal framework on gender perspective, since Madagascar has a plethora of convention and legislation regulating gender equality and inclusion. It is more appropriate to observe the social cultural norms as the main obstacle through the church's power and the implementation of gender theories. Indeed, the church plays a primordial role in the development of the country, but also in its democratization process. And a survey, a Liberty 32 survey, report that 32% of respondents say they trust religious entities and 25% would trust them fully. And the opponent of the TTOP rely on the church to counter abortion and denounce any attempt to popularize this practice as it is against religious norm. And the IRD representative maintains that the TTOP violates human rights, but also the Malagasy Penal Code. And also these social cultural norms are found in the conception of gender perspective in Madagascar. Since the matriarchal aspect of Malagasy society is always used to argue that Malagasy women do not face any male domination. However, in reality, the situation is different. The ISA states that Madagascar does not have a proper law on parity or quota system within state institution, and it's recent in May 2022. The president of the National Assembly submitted a bill on the parity in elective office to improve the participation of women in decision-making position. And also the African Bank of Development and its gender profile report that the main challenge of Malagasy women revolves around social norms, significant gap between laws and their application, the high prevalence of early marriages, the disproportionate accumulation of reproductive and productive tasks by women, the persistence of the gender-based violence, limited access to economic opportunities for women, and the lack of clear gender-sensitive policies. So in that case, introducing quota system in Malagasy politics will not help in some situation, as shown by the case of the TTOP draft bill, which point out a confrontation of viewpoints within a group that is seen by the different legal and political framework as a single group driven by the same aspiration and visions. And the number of female MPs and their initiatives are ineffective since gender-sensitive policies do not unite them. Therefore, several factors and elements are to be considered, which leads us to the role of elected women in the implementation of the TTOP. So this Malagasy case puts into perspective the politics
Sorry
of
for interruption. You have 2 minutes more. Okay, so please be conclusive. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, so overall, this study finds that the number of women in parliament does not necessarily act in favor of the passing of a gender-sensitive bill, since women are not a monolithic group. They are a heterogeneous group with different experiences and policies that should be taken into account in the elaboration of politics. And also, social and cultural norms have more weight than representation in the case of Madagascar, which confirmed Anne Phillips' theory that the politics of presence must be combined with the politics of ideas to reduce the gender gap. So to conclude, the descriptive representation is irrelevant since it can divide due to several factors, and a more logical step has to identify the special interest of women without this concept of single identity. The question should identify women's particular interest and highlight whether they are or not represented in the political process. And regarding this Malagasy case, a substantial representation approach is more suitable for implementing gender-sensitive policies and should be backed by quotas. And here are some recommendations regarding the perspective of gender policies in Madagascar. To pass the gender-sensitive policies, the politics of presence must be supported by the politics of ideas, and Madagascar must effectively strengthen gender's plan and policies. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Gayatri, for this interesting presentation. And of course, it's a sensitive issue that is arising all over the world. I mean, I've seen a very recent moment in the United States about abortion policies and all those things. So your study will be contributing to those ideas and politics from a Madagascar case. Thank you so much. And if there is a question, any question, then we'll ask in the Q&A session. Thank you so much again. So we have to move to the next slide, next study, and the next paper ID is 547. The ID is 547. The paper title is The Effect of Financial Performance on Firms' Value on Banking Companies Listed on Indonesia Stock Exchange from 2017 to 2021. And the paper author is Nadia Rania.
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I'll be sharing my screen. Is my screen visible now?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nadia Rania. I'm from Indonesia. Here I'm going to present my paper with the title The Effect of Financial Performance on Firms' Value on Banking Companies listed on Indonesia Stock Exchange from 2017 until 2021. This is a short biography of myself. I'll be moving on to the introduction. Before I'm going to break down the abstract, this paper is, aside from academics, the target of this paper, the first one will be investors, and the second one will be the management of companies, specifically the banking companies. Here you can see that there has been significant growth in investors in Indonesia's capital market for the last 4 years since 2018. based on the survey conducted by Indonesia Central Securities Depository in 2021, you can see that there are 53.41%, 56.21%, and only 2 months it increased by 16.35%. And also another thing that interests me is that throughout my study in finance, I always encounter this statement in which the financial management's goal is to maximize the shareholders' wealth, in which it's also implied by Ross that in his book that the goal is to maximize the current value per share of the existing stock. So it is hopeful that this paper would be insightful for the academics, investors, and also the management of the companies. And moving on to the objective of this paper is to analyze the significance relationship between variables used as indicators of banks' financial performance. Here I'm using 5 indicators. And these indicators also acting as the independent variable of the analysis. The first one is the capital adequacy ratio, in which it measures the capital of the bank in if how much capital does the bank have, because the capital is one of the most important aspects in banking companies, in which it is used as a safety cushion for them in case outcoming their losses before they become bankrupt. And the second ratios that are used is return on assets, in which is one of the profitability measurement of the companies, also commonly used by other companies, not only banking companies. And it compares the net income to the total assets of the banks. The third ratio I'm using is the efficiency ratio. It's operational efficiency ratio. It's measure how efficient the banks in their operational part of the companies, comparing the cost and income of the banks. The fourth is also another profitability ratio, which is the net interest margin of the bank. It compares how much the bank could get interest on their loans compared to interest they pay to deposits. The last ratios is the non-performing loan ratios, in which this also usually used as a credit risk measurement for the bank, which compares non-performing loan, which is the loans that are already defaulted or the borrowers failed to make scheduled payments, and it's compared to the total outstanding loans of the banks. And these indicators will be analyzed the relationship between towards the bank's value, which playing as the dependent variable here, using price to book value. Also, one of the common valuation ratios used by investors and also companies to value their companies. And moving on to the description here, financial performance are defined as a way to describe the financial condition of the company within a certain period as a result of the decision-making process in the management. And for the value is it's the investor and the market's perception of the company's success level, and how it is connected with each other is that companies that earn high profits suggest favorable prospects in the future of the company, which also means that positive reaction from investor would be as a response to the signal sent from the company by increasing the company's value. And from the literature review, I developed several hypotheses, as you can see in this slide. The first hypothesis will be talking about the simultaneous effect of all the independent variables towards the dependent variables. And for the second and sixth hypothesis, we'll be talking about the each of the independent variables effect towards the dependent variables. And for the methodology here, I'm using quantitative analysis, using secondary data from financial reports of the banks and other financial databases that are necessary. For the data analysis, I'm using panel data regression, using random effect model. And the population sample is the banking companies that are listed in the stock exchange. And from there, I conducted purposive sampling, and 13 banking companies are then gathered for further analysis. And for the method analysis, I'm using the data analysis. I'm using if-use statistical software. In here, I'm testing the panel data regression model selection test, in which to select which model is the best fit model for testing the data, and the result is the random effect model, and also the classical assumption test to make sure the data passed all the classical assumption tests. Moving on to the hypothesis testing. For the first hypothesis is tested using simultaneous test or F-test. Here the rules is if the probability is less than 5%, then the hypothesis will be accepted, and if it's higher than 5%, then it will be rejected. Here you can see that the probability is less than 5%, so that we could accept the first hypothesis. And for the second hypothesis regarding the capital adequacy ratio, you can see that it's more than 5%, so we should reject the second hypothesis. And for the ROA is less than 5%, so we can accept the hypothesis. For the fourth and sixth hypothesis, it's more than 5%, so both hypotheses should be rejected. And for the net interest margin, you can see that it's less than 5% probability, so we can accept the hypothesis. Other findings that I found when analyzing the data is when I tested the coefficient of determination using adjusted R-squared, and this test is used to measure how much the simultaneous influence of the independent variables towards the dependent variables of the variables. And here you can see that the value of the adjusted R-squared is 27.23% here, meaning that 27.23% influence are from the independent variables that are used in this paper. Meanwhile, the rest of it, the 72.77% are from other variables that are not used in this paper. So to sum up the presentation for today, and to answer the hypothesis is that there are indeed simultaneous influence towards the Banks value from the all the independent variables, which is by 27.23%. And for the net interest margin and return on assets, both have positive significant relationship with price to book value of the banks, meaning that for each increase in net interest margin and return on assets, it also leads to an increase in price to book value and vice versa. However, in capital adequacy ratio, operational efficiency ratio, and non-performing loan ratio, the three of them has a significant relationship towards the price to book value, meaning that they don't have any relationship, and their movement is not impacted to one another. And so also the recommendations that are made from the results of this paper is that the managers of the banking companies can seek to focus on optimizing the profitability, which is implied by the results of net interest margin and return on assets, in which both of them are indicators of profitability of the companies in order to aim for higher company value. And the second one is that investors could also focus on net interest margin and return on assets of banking companies when they are doing fundamental analysis to make an investment decision in banking companies. I think that's enough from me. Thank you very much for your time and attention.
Thank you so much, Nadia, for this excellent presentation and for your excellent findings and research. So if the audience have any question, we will ask you at the end. Okay.
Dr. Osman, we will move to 535. 535.
Okay, 535. Let me check it. 535.
Yeah, 535.
Okay.
So, but I think it's already okay. 535.
Yeah, it's already here on the screen.
Okay.
Okay.
It is our topical survey on the current situation of the application of the distant teaching method and the problem finding in design discompliance. The research background and the motivation The COVID-19 outbreak in Taiwan in May 2021 caused many students around the world to move from face-to-face teaching to an online learning environment in the middle of the semester. People's information processing abilities is limited, and the combination of learning style may lead a cognitive overload, which will affect ability to fully learn new information. In addition, if a student lacks confidence in the technology they use or do not feel connectively engaged and socially connected, the result can have a negative impact on student learning outcomes. And it is the challenge of design discompliance in distant learning. Design-related discompliance, such as commodity design, universal design, product design, may special attention to on-site operation and the face-to-face design discussion and communication. So the online teaching face major challenge, not only the teaching environment of teachers and the student from the classroom to the remote network, how to maintain communication and the collaboration between peers to achieve the learning and the practice of complete design purpose is also a problem that need to be solved. And it is purpose of the study. In today's distance course, do the students of the Department of Design feel the three sense of presence that must be created in the distant teaching, and quantitatively summarize the certificate of students of the Department of Design with various mode of the distant course. It is accepted that the certification of students in the Department of Design for today's distant teaching will be quantitatively analyzed, and a reference for the future distance course of the Department of Design will be provided with a reference teaching planning reference. And the distant teacher of the design discovery will be assisted in course planning and adjustment. To enable design discoveries to improve existing dilemmas in distant learning, and to apply the advantage of distant learning to the curriculum so that students can still have sufficient knowledge observation to protect their right to be taught, even in a different learning environment. The text taker are selected to design student from relative discipline. Based on these students in the Department of the Design generally experience three types of teaching in per professional subject, namely the first, pure design theory, second, pure design practice, and the third, hybrid design, that is design theory plus the design practice. After the statistical analysis, the current situation and the definition of the development of remote teaching distant education is generally considered to be part of non-formal education after the COVID-19. Online education has shifted from traditional approach to a modern teaching method, from classroom to Zoom, from personal to visual, from seminar to webinar. Online education has been developing for a decade. That makes a learning model of distant learning and the physical teaching has always been part of the teaching program of higher education and keeps trying to execute. However, because different discipline and the program have different teaching culture and the implementation method, the planned method of distant learning has always been country-disciplinary, which is in turn has led to great change in the learning experience of students. In any case, online teaching is no longer required to enforce this distance learning method, regardless of whether a doctor have mastered the technology of distance learning in the past. The need for effective online teaching is increasing day by day. And the current dilemmas faced by distance learning are as follows. A, feeling of isolation. Most online students choose to complete their or own project on their own, distance themselves from their classmates and the teachers in time and space. Both teachers learning and learning when problems or doubt arise, study have shown that this isolation led to an increase in feeling of frustration, confusion, and hopelessness, which reduce motivation to complete coursework and can lead to student drop out of school. The B is negative learning attitude. 28% of teachers believe that students are unable to maintain the positive attitude toward learning after performing online classes. The C is information overload. If students lack confidence in the software technology they use, or do not feel cognitive engagement and the social connection, the end result of online learning may have a negative impact on their learning outcomes. And research proved that the art and the humanities are better suited to distance learning than science. But there are two types of the class type. The A type is non-synchronous course. Actors prepare assessment or instructional videos in advance. Students complete this course and assessment at the state pace. The B is synchronous course. Educators use the web platform to open online meeting and share the lesson plan file on the screen and how to teaching using electronic whiteboard. Some hands-on course educator will use video footage to shoot, demonstrate demonstration, and interact with students from time to time to explain the step they take, or ask students to follow the educator steps real time and submit result after class. I think this can speak. Okay, the doctor based on the study covered in the creative curriculum for distance learning concluded that interaction is at the heart of online learning. Teaching presence. Table 1 is the relationship
For
and
your interruption, you have 2 minutes more, so please be conclusive. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Then I will skip to the research. So we can see the third and the fourth grade have the obviously feel more significant with distance learning than first and the second grade ordinary project in particular. And students who have undergone the first semester of distance learning have slightly higher certification. Student certification with long-distance experience over 2 semesters. 3 semesters and the 4th semester decrease significant. This means that the more experience you have at the distance, the less satisfied you are with the teaching from the distance. It is the conclusion. Third and the fourth grade have obviously more feeling of the certification with distance teaching them first and the second grade as ordinary project. And the second, this means that the more experience you have at a distance, the less satisfied you are with teaching from a distance. The third, this means that the subjects of the design of the practical course using distance teaching to guide students. 3 demonstration works or models have content teaching limitation and need to be improved. The fourth, it is recommended that experts with experience in distance learning be interviewed on this indicator to develop a constructive teaching strategy. Okay, I think that is include all the topic. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your interesting presentation, and we move forward to the next presenter. So the paper ID is, I think it's last presentation.
Yeah,
The paper
lab.
ID is paper ID is 550. The paper title is Investigation and Analysis of the Impact of the New Crown in Taiwan Industries. So if Song, you are here, please present.
Okay.
Please share your screen.
Please share your
And the screen is visible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
this is
I
visible.
think it's the last one. It's 535, not 550. Am I right?
Yeah, this 535.
Yes, yeah.
But 535 is just now presented.
The just topic is, I think that is 534.
No, 534 and 535 were presented by the same person.
Yeah, the same person, but she has a two topic have to report.
This is the topic, a survey on the current situation, but your topic is here is the investigation and analysis of the impact of the new crown epidemic on Taiwan industries. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this
you have to
topic
present this one.
is different, I think.
Yeah. These are two different topics.
Okay. But we okay, go for it. Okay.
So should I keep to present this topic?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, okay. That I want to keep just talking about the research result. We can see the discussion of the conclusion. We do the many experience to the students' mental, so we can that mean the 4 points. The first, third, and the fourth grade have the obviously more feelings of a satisfaction with distance teaching than first and the second grades as ordinary project. The second is the satisfaction of students who have undergone one semester of distance learning is slightly higher. Students' satisfaction with more than 2, 3, and 4 semester in above experience is significantly reduced. This means that the more experience you have at a distance, the less satisfied you are with teaching from a distance. The certification of distance teaching in hybrid design is slightly higher, followed by pure design theory and only pure design practice. It's the worst teaching certification. This means that the subjects of the design of the practical course using distance teaching to guide students, three-dimensional works or models have content teaching limitation and need to be improved. And the fourth, trigger event and the sense of distress is the mental issue to of children of student. Encouraging message exchange is also a mental issue. Emotional expression and emotion, open communication, risk-free expression, understanding, sharing personal opinions are almost all the items with those certification in the rating. So it is recommended that experts with experience in distant learning be interviewed on this in the character to develop a constructive teaching strategy. That is this topic is all the conclusion and the discussion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
So I'm still confused. 550 is presented or not? 550, are you available?
We have 507 presented, and then 534, 535, 542, 547, and this 550.
Yeah, 550 is presented, right?
So we are 513. I have seen there, but okay, that was the presentation, the video presentation.
Yeah, 550, are you available? 550. You are here in the Zoom, but you are not responding. Can you hear me? 550, Lin, Mr. Lin. Okay, so we will play his video here online by sharing the screen, because I think his universities require him to play it online. So I will share my screen and play his video. Just wait. Just a minute. Is it visible to everyone?
Yes, it's visible, sir.
Okay. It's visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, thank you.
Of the impact of the new corn epidemic on Taiwan industry. One, upfront. In 2020, the global economy was greatly affected by the new corn pneumonia COVID-19 epidemic. The global business layout of Taiwan textile industry has been handled, and the international production bases are facing the closure of factories due to the epidemic. Digital transformation to help the supply chain to expand the international market with digital marketing. Jointly continue to grow Taiwan's economy. Two, introduction. The new corn pneumonia epidemic broke out rapidly in Taiwan in May 2021. It is even more difficult for the national central government to control the epidemic. Whether the number of infections can be predicted in the future and whether the virus will continue to mutate is unknown, which is a severe threat for Taiwan. One, research motivation. However, the outbreak of epidemic has not only affected the supply industry in economic performance. It has two research questions in order to understand the impact of the epidemic on Taiwan's industry and the need for government assistance, so as to provide timely reference for relevant government agencies. 3. Research method. The questionnaire survey was conducted from May 28 to June 9 and received enthusiastic response. A total of 821 valid questionnaires were recovered, covering industry training from semiconductor manufacturing to textile industry and other traditional industries. And the scale also includes national companies to small and micro local enterprise. It has considerable representativeness and reference value. Questionnaire survey results. A. How are manufacturers affected by the domestic newborn pneumonia epidemic? No, a total of 821 valid questionnaires were presented, which a total of 6 options, which can be checked. A. More than 60% of the respondents indicated that decrease in orders and decrease in profits. B. 57% of companies that their employees had not go to work as usual, and another 20% believe that production line shutdown affected operations. C. Half of the operators suffer from lack of materials. D. Rise in raw materials, shortage of containers, and lack of labor have affected industrial operations. D. What matters to manufacturers urgently need government assistance for? Note, a total of 821 factors questionnaires were presented with a total of 9 options, which can be checked. A. Items that the industry most hope for government assistance. The top 3 items that industry companies report most in need of government assistance are increasing vacant administration, business tax relief, and the employee wage subsidy. D. There is a high consequence in the industry to increase vacant administration. It is hoped that the vaccination of the whole people will become complete as soon as possible. D. Industrial relief package. Regarding industrial relief, business tax relief, and the employee wage subsidy, and the relief measures most needed for the industry. More than 50% of the surveyed companies hope to get government assistance, which is much higher than interest subsidy, loan extension, interest financing, and another options. 4. Research and discussion. Taiwan is unable to operate normally due to the speed of the epidemic, which will have serious consequences for China's export industry and the economy. 1. Complete vacant procurement and administration as soon as possible, and establish industrial epidemic prevention SOP. Whether Taiwan semiconductor or other key components and other industry affect the operation of the global supply chain, ensuring the normal operation operation of the industry is an issue at the national strategic level. 2. Provide industrial relief assistance to the manufacturing industry as soon as possible. Regarding this epidemic, the industrial, and the electronic and semiconductor industries are more concerned about the progress of vacant administration and the smaller traditional industries are more concerned about the bailout issue. People results. 3. All things are rising. The government should stabilize price. Then China's latest producer price index rose by 9% compared with the same period last year, the fastest growth rate in 13 years, which is miserable for the manufacturing industry. 4. Assist in solving the problem of manpower shortage. In response to increase of employees who are eager to work and take their leave for academic prevention, the limit on the total number of hours per month and longer should be temporarily reduced to maintain the normal operation of the production line. 5. And the interpretation. The theory, the administration of vacant has become a major consequence across industry. It is very important to administer vacant to all people or to industrial nations to administer vacant as soon as possible. It is worth nothing that 83.8% of the industry respondents in the face of rated vacant administration of the first place, and 43% of the industry operators agreed with the offering of self-imposed vacant administration, which is much higher than the average. It is a more urgent need for interpersonal mobility and mutual recruitment. But there is a high willingness to be vaccinated. Taiwan's textile industry is facing tremendous pressure from the freezing of Europe and the American market, and immediately demonstrate its industrial strength. It has adjusted its building production lines and transferred its manpower to academic prevention textiles to prolong the academic situation. Report complete.
Thank you so much. Yes, Dr. Lin, we have played your video on the Zoom live because you sent us the video.
To the parallel session. This is my turn. My name is Ika Mariani from Universitas Ahmad Dahlan, Yogyakarta, Indonesia. It's a great to see you all.
Sorry.
Research entitled
What's this?
Your video already been played.
On student self-persistence in learning science. This is a group research between student and lecturer in Universitas Ahmad Dahlan.
Hello. Hello, your video is already being played. Did you see the video? We already played on the Zoom.
This is the research background. Science learning is
Dr. Lin, can you hear me?
Provided for students enrolled in the elementary school teacher education department In science education, information is gathered through inquiry activities, and scientific attitudes are formed during the process of learning.
Hello?
Hello, this is my time.
Your video already been played on Zoom. That's right?
This is my time Q&A.
Yeah, it's time for Q&A. Dr. Usman, please move to the Q&A, and if there's any question or suggestions from participants.
Okay, thank you to all of you and for these wonderful presentations and research and findings. So it's the Q&A sessions, and we have time maybe for up to 10 minutes to, if you have any question from each other, so you can ask questions, or if you want to give any suggestion, recommendations, so your floor is yours. So if anyone, any question from the audience or from the presenter, please ask your question directly.
Yeah, any question, any suggestions from the participants? Or any question from the organizers or the organizations you want to ask about your publication or anything else?
No question.
Hello?
Hello, no question.
I think no questions, so we will move to the end of this session.
So I think all the presentations were really nice. They were research based, and we have seen some wonderful findings and comments from different parts of the world, from Madagascar to China and Thailand to all over the world. So that was really amazing experience to be with you guys. And I hope to see your papers published in the online journals, and the organization and Dr. Shakir will help you in that. So I think from my side, handing over to Dr. Shakir, the coordinator of the IIARP. So please move forward to the formal wind-up ceremony.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I hope the participants of the today conference enjoyed a lot today virtual event. It was really a great experience with all of you, and thank you so much for participating in our virtual session. I think, as per my observation, all the presenters have very good research ideas and had put their efforts for the best. All the papers' data was supported by robust methodologies and theoretical frameworks and achievable objectives. But still, improvements are always needed to be in every manuscript. And now we, I think, are going to end up this session. And if you still have any question, if you want to ask about your publication, about any other things related to conference or upcoming conference, we are available here, or you can ask us on our email. I think the email already is been sent to you. And the one thing more I want to mention here is some of the participants who are not able to join us, but you can go to the YouTube channel to see the presentations over there. And I will just share a link in the chat box. This is the link. You can go there to see the presentations. Let me just share the link. Yeah, I will share it in the chat box. Everyone, this is the link to the YouTube channel. You can see your videos and PPTs. And those who didn't send your videos, PPTs, or were unable to present on Zoom, they can send their PPT to the email address. I'm again sending it in the chat box. This is the email. You can use it for the upcoming corresponding. Yeah, this is in the chat box I shared.
应该是在跟大家讲话，然后
Yeah.
本来谁的 PPT
And
想要分享
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I shared it in the chat box, and I will mention our respected session chairs, including Dr. Usman and other reviewers, evaluated all the papers and presentations, including the online and YouTube presentations, very neutrally, and the results for the award winners will be sent to your email along with the proceedings and the certificates. So that will be sent to your email, and every information will be shared. And this is our Facebook page for upcoming conferences related information. I'm sharing it in the chat box again. You can copy it here. This is the Facebook link. Yeah, you can follow it, and you will be informed about upcoming conferences and other events. So that's all, I think. And still, if there is any question, you can ask it by adding our WhatsApp number. I'm sharing it again in the chat box. This is our WhatsApp number.
WhatsApp
Yeah.
哦 WhatsApp
你的那个 WhatsApp 的 number
WhatsApp BB number
It's already shared in the chat box.
550.
Yeah. You can ask me publication-related questions or conference-related questions by adding this WhatsApp. It will be easy for us to use. And thank you so much. And in the last, I wanna ask you to open your cameras, and we can take a group photo.
就叫你打开 camera， 打开摄影，
All
打
of
开摄
you.
影吧，继续。
我都打开呀。
哦，要叫
Yeah,
全部的人打
thank you so much. Thank you.
叫全他人其实打开的。
嗯。
Thank you. So I will say 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. Once again, please.
再一次。
1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you so much. Any question? If still there is no question, but you can come later and ask it by WhatsApp or email. If that's all, you will receive your documents, including certificates and proceedings, to your email. Thank you so much, and see you in the upcoming conferences. And follow the Facebook page for latest information regarding conferences. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye. I will end this session. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Usman.
Thank you.
Thank you.
离开会。